Hi all, welcome to video 6 of the Databricks playlist. So in the last video, we have created the Azure Cloud account. Okay. In this video, we will be creating the Databricks service. Okay. In that Azure Cloud account. This is like, the analogy is like we are proposing Databricks, right? We love Databricks. We are proposing it to be with us for, let's say rest of our life, right? And I think I just remembered the something for creating Azure Cloud account. It is like there is some, some girl is loving some boy or some boy is loving some girl, right? So creating Azure Cloud account is like getting admitted to same college or same school, right? Where the love is there, right? And then creating the Databricks service, it is like proposing Databricks, right? So the first part where going to that college we have done where our love is, right? Not our Databricks, let's say, is a common love for all of us, okay? And now we are proposing Databricks so that we can understand it, right? How it works, how it can help us, right? How it will make our life beautiful, right? That's the uh, that's the purpose of love, right? It will add a value to us, okay? In all the means, right? In personal life, professional life, I would say, mental life, right? All the means, okay? So I feel this is like proposing Databricks, okay? And we'll start proposing Databricks. So basically, create the Azure Databricks service, okay? We already have created Azure Cloud account in the last video. What you have to do, you have to go to portal.azure.com, right? So navigate to navigate to X second, okay? Portal dot, I think it has not got copied, okay? Portal.azure.com, right? Okay. And you will see that you already have created Azure Cloud account. Now you are moving to Azure Cloud portal, right? So here to create the basically Databricks service, you will need few things, okay? The first thing is like subscription, okay? So subscription is like your billing account, right? We take any Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hotstar, or any other subscriptions, right? So that is like your billing account, okay? And another thing you will need is resource group. So what is resource group? I'll let you know, okay? As of now, what we will do, we'll search Azure Databricks, right? You can see that, okay? We'll click on this, okay? There are many things: create, manage view, refresh, okay? All these things. What we have to do, we have to create the Databricks service. We have to start proposing Databricks, okay? If it can come to our life, okay? So now the subscription, the billing account is Azure subscription one. That is my billing account that I'm using, okay? It is pay as you go account. You might have your free account also, right? Now resource group. Now what is resource group? I'll just tell you. Resource group. Resource group is like a logical group of resources, okay? So logical grouping of resources, right? So you can group the resources based on your project, right? You can group the resources based on the environment, right? Environment, let's say for dev environment you are keeping one resource group. For test environment you are keeping one resource group. For production you are keeping one resource group, right? That way, okay? So that is resource group, okay? So I have not yet created any resource group. Maybe I'll create a new here, okay? A resource group is a container that holds related resources for an Azure solution. So related resources, let's say that might be for a project, for particular environment, for particular region, right? Based on anything, based on your requirement, right? So what I'll do, I'll create maybe one resource group. Let's say decode data, decode the data AI, okay? ADB, not ADB, let's say RG, okay? Decode the data AI, let's say learning RG, okay? Learning resources for decode the data AI. And I'll click on OK. right? So this resource group has got now created. Okay. Now next is workspace name. Workspace name is like we need to give a unique name. Okay. So unique name, it should not be existing already. So what I'll do, maybe I'll just put decode the data AI learning WS. WS is workspace. RG is resource group, right? Just I'm giving one name and looks like it is available, right? It is available means nobody has yet taken this name, right? So that is workspace name I have given. And this name should be meaningful and easy for identification. Now for me, I can say like for decode the data AI for learning purpose, this workspace has been created. So I have appended that with WS, right? This resource group, for example, for decode the data AI channel for learning purpose, I have created this resource group, right? Now for region. Now basically what is the region? Region is like the data center, okay, where your service will get created. For example, uh, in India, right? Let's see what all data centers are there in India, what are regions are there in India, okay? So if you can see, there is South India, okay. Let me try India. Yes, see, Central India, South India, West India, right? So Central India, I am nearby Pune, so I can select Central India. South India is like south area of India, okay. And West India, I think it's somewhere above Maharashtra, right? So let's say I'm selecting Central India. Now, what are the criteria to select the resources? The resource, I mean, the region, right? If it is near, it will be easy. It will give us lower latency and it will be more compliant, right? The distant regions, okay, if we select the region, let's say US or some other region, Australia, right? Are I mean, it will increase the latency, okay. It can cause compliance requirements also, okay. We select the distant region only if it is required for redundancy. I mean, some data is there, okay, and I have in India and I want to keep that data in some other country also, right? So in that case we select the region, right? I'll tell you basically, let's say what how it works, okay. In case of Azure cloud, just a high level idea, the region and all that stuff, okay. Let me discard this. Yes, okay. Discard. Yes, okay. So basically the thing is, the India is one geography, okay. So I'll put it here. Let's say this is geography, okay. This is what, let's say geography, okay. India, for example, this is geography India. Okay. Now, if in India geography, there are three regions, right? We have seen here. Let's say Central India, East India, and West India. Okay. So let's say this is my region. Let's say, for example, this is South India. Okay. South India. Okay. Then I have one more. Let's say Central India. Okay. Central India region. Okay. I'll just put it here. South India, or I'll put it outside. Let me put it outside. Okay. Because there is some other plan inside. What? Okay. Hmm. Yeah. This is South India. Right. Okay. This is, let's say, Central India. Okay. Central India. Okay. I'll just put it here. This is Central India region. Okay. And West India. So West India might be somewhere here, let's say. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll just put a name West India. Okay. This is my West India region. Okay. So India geography has these three regions. So regions are a subset of geography. Okay. Central India. Yeah, it can be here. Right. Now, within a region there can be multiple data centers, okay. So maybe let me put a data center like this one, anything that is fine, right? Let's say this region, South India region, has multiple data centers, okay. So what I can do, I'll just copy paste, right? I have not yet checked how many data centers South India region has, but it every region can have one or more data centers. Okay, data centers is a place where servers are stored, okay, and our services or data is on those servers, right? So do not think West India has two data centers, Central India has one, South India has three. No, I'm just trying to tell you this is, let's say, DC, data center. So a region can have one or more data centers. Okay, this is on high level how Azure cloud works, right? Geography at the top, then regions are a subset of geography, and data centers are subset of regions, right? So what we have done, we have selected Central India because that is nearby to me. Now here we have pricing tier. Okay, so if you see, there are three pricing tiers: standard, premium, and trial. Okay, now standard is what? Standard has basic features. Okay, it has basic features. You can see Apache Spark, secure with Microsoft Intra ID, right? And it is suitable for small teams. Okay, premium has, let's say, plus role based access control. So these features plus role based access control, so it includes audit logs and many more features. Okay, and trial, it is I think 14 days free DBUs. Okay, it is, I think, available for it is available with very limited features. Okay, so now which one should we select basically? Okay, premium is good for production workloads and enterprise grade security, right? Standard is for development and testing environments, right? So standard, we don't need much features. Okay, so basically we'll see in details what all features are available. Okay, let's say pricing tier. Okay, the first pricing tier is standard, for example, right? So in standard, it has core features. Okay, and this video might be little long, we will split into two, but I'm going to give you entire idea, right? Full idea, right? What we are learning. Okay, also it has Apache Spark engine. We all know Databricks is what? Databricks is Apache Spark designed and optimized to work on cloud, right? It has notebooks. Okay, it has notebooks, plus it has job scheduling option available within Databricks, right? I'm just telling you what all features are available. Data lake support. Okay, Delta Lake support. What is Delta Lake? We will see that when we enter Databricks. Okay, we are now just preparing Databricks to be with us. Okay, then cluster management. Okay, cluster management feature is available. We can create and manage our clusters. Okay, and then monitoring, like some job we are scheduling, we are monitoring that, right? So all these features are available in standard tier, right? Now basically, next thing is what all features are not included in standard tier. Okay, I'll put available. Okay, and next thing is not available. Okay, not not available. Okay, so security and governance is not available. Okay, because it is made for development and testing, right? So nothing like security and governance. It is assuming that we will use test data, right? Role based access control is not available. Role based access control, what is role based access control? It is like, if you are a developer, you will be having only let's say access to develop, right? You will not be having access to any production data or business data, right? Unity catalog is not available in standard. Okay, audit logs, right? Audit logs is like we can trace back, right, what activity happened, what time, right? If you want to trace back, that is the purpose of audit logs. Okay, so these features are not available in standard. Okay, standard pricing tier. Okay, now next is premium, right? What all features are available in premium? Okay, so all above features. Okay, all above features available in standard, right? Whatever features are in standard that are available. In addition to that, security and governance is available, role based access control is available, unity catalog is available, and audit logs are available. Okay, so basically it has more features as compared to standard. Okay, and hence please make a note, it has more features, so price also would be more, right? So now which one we are going to select? Okay, and why? Okay, we are going to select premium tier. Okay, the reason being is we have to learn everything. Okay, I want to teach you, I want to, tell you about unity catalog, right? I want to tell you about role based access control, audit logs, and all these things. So that is the reason we are going to select the premium. Okay, whatever option we are selecting, we should be aware. Okay, what I mean what option we are selecting and why we are selecting, right? So if I click on premium tier, I say workspace types are hybrid, requires access to compute and storage in your Azure account, supports custom compute, and there is another serverless. No setup required, uses Databricks managed default storage and serverless compute, connect to your cloud storage at any time. Okay, now what is the difference? Workspace type. Okay, workspace type, right? First is what? Hybrid. Okay, hybrid. And second is what? Serverless. Okay, serverless. Okay, so hybrid is basically can use cluster. Okay, cluster and storage from Databricks and Azure cloud. Databricks and Azure cloud. So you can use cluster and storage from both Databricks and Azure cloud. Okay, please note Databricks and Azure cloud both are different things. Databricks is hosted on Azure cloud, right? Databricks can use the compute from Azure cloud and can use the storage also from Azure cloud. Okay, and serverless is like can use cluster and storage only from Databricks. Okay, you can use cluster and storage only from Databricks, and I think later we can see can connect to your cloud storage at any time. So option to connect to your cloud storage at any other time is available, but that is this is the meaning of serverless. Okay, now next thing we can see over here is managed resource group. If you can see here, manage resource group name, and that is not mandatory. Okay, what is managed resource group? Managed resource group, we will call it in short MRG, let's say. Okay, so managed resource group, it is like a resource. I have told you about resource group, right? This resource group is not managed, this is something which we have created, right? You can see the definition of this resource group. A resource group is a collection of resources that share the same life cycle, permission, and policies, right? Now what is this managed resource group? This is special resource group. Special resource group. Okay, created by Azure. Created by Azure automatically. Created by Azure automatically. Created and managed both. Created and managed by Azure automatically on on users behalf, on our behalf. It is creating a managed resource group. Okay, now the thing is, why Azure is creating a resource group on our behalf, on users behalf? Okay, it is because some services need extra resources. Okay, for example, Databricks is needing storage accounts, right? We can store the data in Azure cloud. Networking requirements are there, virtual machines are needed, right? Security connections, security and identity connections are needed, right? So instead of making us handle all that complexity as a user, what Azure is doing, it is creating and managing these resources automatically in managed resource group, right? So let me write the purpose, the reason why Azure Cloud creates this managed resource group for us is to um, like make this service we are creating use the extra resources needed, like let's say storage, okay, then networking requirements, okay, networking requirements, then VMs, okay, virtual machines, and some identity or security, okay, identity or security connections, right? So because of these reasons, instead of making user, okay, instead of asking user to handle all these things, it is handled in the background by Azure Cloud, okay. And now here, for example, let's say Azure Cloud is creating the managed resource group, right? We are not allowed to edit or delete this managed resource group, right? If we delete this managed resource group, I will show you after we create Databricks service. I'll show you it is creating managed resource group, right? So I'm just telling you, if we delete the managed resource group, the parent service, I mean, let's say it is getting created for Databricks, right? It will break the Databricks service, okay? If we rename it, right, or if we delete it, it will break the Databricks service, right? So in short, managed resource group is Azure cloud created container, let's say, that stores internal resources needed for this managed service. For us, it is Databricks, okay? And it is not meant for manual, manual management by the user. It is managed by Azure cloud. Now, when we should, um, I would say, when we should select, okay, the manage resource group, and when we should not select, okay, here it is giving us the option to select the manage resource group, okay, but should we select it or should we not select it, okay? I'll tell you when we need to provide manage resource group name, when we should provide the MRG details, for example, right? When we should provide the manage resource group details, okay? We need to choose or provide the details of managed resource group if we are deploying Databricks in our customer managed infrastructure, okay? When we are deploying the ADB in, let's say, customer managed infrastructure, right? We don't want to use any infrastructure that is provided by Azure cloud. We want to use our own infrastructure, right? So when that is the requirement, we will select the managed resource group name, right? And when we want to, deploy Databricks within our own VNet, okay, when we want to deploy ADB is Azure Databricks, okay, in our own VNet, okay, virtual network, in our own virtual network, then we will select the we will provide the managed resource group name, okay. And when you are not needed to select, right, it is quite clear uh, when we should not provide the MRG details, okay. Okay, the first is when we are using the uh, Azure provided Azure provided resources, okay, Azure provide resources and VNet, right? I mean, all the networking requirements we want Azure cloud to handle. In that case, we will not provide the manage resource group details, okay. So these things, okay, in future, if someone asks you, okay, let's say an interview or anything or a knowledge purpose, what are the situations when you will select manage resource group name, or what are the situations when you will not select manage resource group name, you should be able to answer this, right? Okay, when we are going to deploy this service in our managed environment, okay, the organization or user managed environment, okay, then we will select the manage resource group details, otherwise we will not select. Okay, data Azure cloud will in the backend will take care of everything. It will take care of infrastructure, it will take care of vnet, right? And all the needed resources it will create as part of manage resource group, right? So that is in detail understanding of this basics tab, right? Now we will move to, I'll just put it here, let's say basics tab. Okay, basics tab for example, right? Next is what? Networking. Okay, what is next? Networking. Networking tab, right? So let's see first what all options are available under networking tab. See, there are two options available. Deploy Azure Databricks workspace with secure cluster connectivity, no public IP, right? Yes or no? The and second option is deploy Azure Databricks workspace in your own VNet, yes or no, right? If we see this, with secure cluster connectivity enabled, customer virtual networks have no open ports and Databricks runtime cluster nodes have no public IP address. So all the IP address would be private, right? So the first option, let's learn about first option. So this option decides how Databricks clusters connects to the I mean Azure cloud, right? And what types of network access they use. Okay, it is not going to use any public network access, no public IP, right? Now, what this option means, what is mean by secure cluster connectivity? This means, when this is enabled, Databricks clusters, okay, communicates privately to Azure Databricks cloud. I mean, whatever clusters we are creating in Databricks, they will communicate to the cloud privately, right? So first thing, let's say I'll copy this option, okay? I'll copy this option, okay, sorry. And when we select this option, for example, what will happen when we select is, let's say ADB clusters will communicate to cloud through private channel, right? And this means more secure. Okay, no public IP address are assigned to cluster nodes. No public IPs are assigned to cluster nodes, right? And the next is outbound traffic, right? Whatever outbound traffic is there, I mean, whoever wants to access this, okay, uh, let's say external resources, for example, external resources accessing the service needs to use private, okay, or managed connectivity, right? Managed connectivity. So it is more secure. Nobody from, I mean, who is not having access is able to use this connectivity, right? And when it is disabled, Databricks clusters can have public IP address, right? Communication can happen over public internet, but still it is encrypted. Okay. This doesn't mean if we don't select it, it doesn't mean it is available, accessible to all. No, it is encrypted, right? But it is less private. Okay. So let me put it here like when selected, yes, right? When selected, yes. And this is when selected, no, right? So when selected no, Databricks clusters, okay, can have can have public IP addresses. Okay, communication happens. Communication, okay, happens over public internet. Okay, public internet, but still encrypted, right? Still it is encrypted, right? And less private, less private, okay, but easier and faster to setup, but easy and fast to setup. Okay, so if we select yes, we select yes only if we have, let's say, the privacy requirement. Okay, a great privacy requirement is there. Okay. So typical use cases, okay, when we select this as yes is for production workloads, okay, mostly enterprise production workloads, okay. When we have we are going to use our own VNet, right? In that case, we select this option as yes, okay. The third point is when we have strict security and compliance requirement. When we have that thing, then only we select this option as yes, okay. When you have very private data, right, very much compliant data, let's say bank data or some data, right, in that case only you select this option as yes, okay. And when we want to connect databricks to some private storage account, right, some private key vault is like the storage where keys are stored, right, in that case only we select this option as yes, right. I hope you are more clear now. Why to select this option as yes and why to select this option as no? Definitely, if we select this as yes, it might I mean, it might cause a little more cost, but it is more private based on our requirement. Okay. So for our purpose, we are fine. We are just choosing this account for learning purpose, right? But it will still be encrypted. So I'm choosing this option as no, right? The second option, okay, deploy Azure Databricks workspace in your own VNet, right? Like if we want to deploy the Databricks workspace in our own VNet, then we select this option as yes, right? Otherwise, we select this option as no, right? Now, when we select this as yes, okay, it will be like it will be more secure. Okay, advantages of choosing yes. Let's say, let me put here when selected yes. The first advantage is more secure, right? Because you are deploying this in your own VNet, your private virtual network, right? Private networking, okay, private networking, okay. You can have your private networking for within your organization or something like that. Restricted, right, restricted access. Tomorrow if someone gets, um, let's say the URL of your databricks, right, it will not be accessible. If any other, if anyway, if they get, it will not be accessible until you provide the access, but this will have more control to the organization, okay. And the full network control is with user, right. So that is the fourth advantage, okay. And the fifth advantage is, let's say, more compliant, okay, more compliant. It is only required for like the requirements where compliance is necessary, right. So it is best for production, best for private storage accounts, right, best for secure cluster connectivity, best for, where you are needing, I would say, lot of compliance. You have very strict compliant requirements. In that case, only you select this option as yes. Otherwise, let Azure Cloud take care of that. Okay, let Azure Cloud take care of your VNet, your connectivity requirements, your storage, and everything. Right. For our case, now we are putting it for learning purpose, so I'm not going to put it as yes. Okay, and you see the setup becomes little complex when we put let's say this as yes, okay. It is asking me to select virtual network, okay. Then it is asking me to select subnet name, all these things, right, subnet range, network access, okay, allow required NSG rules, okay. So all these things it is asking me to select, right. If that is the requirement, all these details will be having from our organization, right. I think admins will take care of that. I'm just giving you an idea why to select yes, why to select no, right. Fine, wonderful. The third tab is, let's say, encryption tab, okay. Now let's go to encryption tab and let's see what all things are there. See, uh, data encryption. For additional control of your data, you can add your own key to protect and control access to some types of data, enabling customer managed key encryption for managed services or managed disk. Okay, managed disk means disk is managed by customer itself, by user itself. The key vault and the key version may be updated, but the feature cannot be disabled after being enabled. So if we select these options, right? Let's say I want to use my own key. Key means like what? Some identifier, okay, to access the account. So use your own key. It is saying Azure Databricks compute workloads in the data plane. Okay, data plane and control plane. We will see that in Databricks. I would say architecture. Lesson. Okay, store temporary data on Azure managed disk. By default, data stored on managed disk is encrypted at rest using server-side encryption. Okay, so if you want double encryption, see double encryption is also there. Okay, so if you want to use your own key for Azure managed disk and Azure managed services, you can select this as yes and select your key. Okay, own key means you will have control over the I would say security. Okay, you will have double layer of security. Okay, so this is what encryption. If you have your own key, you can put it that. What it will do, it will put a second layer of encryption. It is called infrastructure encryption using platform managed key. Okay, so it is like double encryption. This is again useful when you have, I would say, a very private data or a very strict compliance requirement where you cannot have any option. Okay, so in this case, we can select this option when we want to manage the encryption by ourselves. Okay, when the compliance requirement, when you are doing some banking project, healthcare project, or any government project. Okay, and I mean, in this case, you will have more control. Okay, user will have more control. Okay, and we will deselect when we don't need to manage the keys manually, right? When we want Azure to manage that, Azure Cloud to manage that. Okay, so this is the encryption, right? This is the encryption tab. Okay, now next thing, let's say security and compliance tab. Okay, so what it is saying, enhanced security and compliance add-on helps to simplify the complexity of meeting security and regulatory requirements. Okay, so if we want to enable the compliance security profile, right, we have to select the compliance security standards, right? What option we want to select. Okay, and what is saying, compliance security is what? It is hardened baseline for data plane. Okay, and helps meet manage compliance and control requirements. Okay, so it is like your data, whatever you are storing in, let's say, Azure cloud, it will have a one more layer of security. Okay, and it is required for compliance activities. Okay, enable enhanced security monitoring. Okay, it provides increased visibility, threat protection, and security hardening for the workspace. Okay, so if you enable enhanced security monitoring, you will be getting the increased visibility. Okay, what all things are happening on your account. Okay, you will get extra threat protection. Okay, and again, all these things are needed when you have a strict, let's say, you have banking requirement, you have government requirement, or you have some healthcare requirement. Okay, and enable automatic cluster updates. Your clusters will be updated to get the latest, to get latest images or security updates. Okay, now if you see, by default this is configured as the first Sunday of every month, so all the updates will happen on the first Sunday of every month. Okay, and to configure this, please update is in Databricks account console. Okay, Databricks account console, what it is, that I'll show you when we will be learning Unity catalog. Okay, so this is the importance of enhanced security and compliance. Tags is basically, it is simply a label. Okay, label which can help us track like who is using what, right? For example, this I want to see the billing of this. What is that? Azure Database Services Group. Okay. Okay. If we, let's say, I am putting the name, for example, uh, 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 purpose. Okay, purpose, for example, and value I am putting as learning, right? So if I want to find out, like, for learning purpose, what is the cost that these accounts have incurred, right? What is the cost that these accounts have incurred for learning purpose. I can just select the tag purpose and learning. Okay, it will be very simple. It will be like, for example, you will be having a drop down. Okay, let's say a drop down, your purpose learning. You will find that learning, and in below you will be having all the data. Let's say your billing and all that stuff. Okay, so you have drop downs, and then you will be having data. So it is just to kind of filter. Okay, filter based on particular word. Okay, what is the purpose for learning, how much cost is getting incurred for working, for development, or how much cost is getting incurred for test, how much for production, how much, right? That is the purpose of tag. Okay, fine. And review and create is like, you just need to review the whatever details you have selected. Okay, so I have selected the workspace name, subscription, resource group, region, right, pricing tier. Okay, premium I have selected because I want to access Unity catalog and everything. Hybrid is because I'm going to use the I would say Azure clusters also, right? Azure clusters are called as all-purpose clusters, and serverless also. Okay, networking, I don't have any specific networking requirements, so I have selected it as no, right? Everything else is no, and then we can just click on create, right? So it will. I mean, now we have proposed. It is up to the Databricks if it wants to accept our proposal, or if it doesn't want to. Generally it will never decline, right? It will decline, I mean, it has already validated things. Okay, so before you are giving the proposal, Databricks has already, this cloud has already validated everything, right? You must have seen on the last page that validations are successful. So here you will see the notifications. Okay, when this service will be created, it will give you the notification that the service is created. Okay, this is the overview. Okay, inputs, what are the inputs that we have given. Outputs is, I think it will give us the service when it is getting created. And parameters is like, this is the I would say the JSON of our, I would say, Databricks service, right? So if you can see, what is compute mode we have selected, we selected hybrid. If you are aware, manage resource group name. Okay, if not empty. Okay, I think we have selected it as empty, so it will create on its own. Okay, uh, and I think that's it. Default catalog, it is Unity catalog. Okay, so these are all the things. Okay, this is the in detail process to create the Databrick service, and I hope this is, I think, first time you will be learning all these things in so much details. Generally, I think I have seen people explaining just select yes, just select no, but it is very important to understand why we are selecting some option as yes and why we are selecting some option as no, right? Fine, that's all. And I think it was a wonderful learning. Have not yet started with Databricks. In the next video, we will open Databricks and we will start learning. Okay, but actually till this point, I think we have learned a lot, right? And I'm enjoying a lot, right? It is taking me to more granular details, and I'm enjoying these things also, right? I'm also learning something new with each and every video. I hope you all are also, right? So let it get created. We will stop this video. It will take some time, right? And then I'll see you in the next video. If you feel this is useful, do give us the motivation. Do, I mean, like, share, subscribe here on YouTube. Okay, pass on the reviews on Udemy, right? And fine, I think I'll see you in the next video with more detailed content on Databricks. Okay, when we will actually open Databricks. Fine, that's all. Thank you so much for all your support, and I'll see you in the next video.